Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Meticulous Talks on July 20th. I'm Chris, of course.
And I'm HithRock.
I had to stop myself for a second. I almost said June. These 2 months have felt so similar.
They sound similar.
But between them
July.
was an important event.
I don't know about important. It was an event.
I think it was important. It was a chance to break some new ground. That's what it was.
Yeah, it was the first new core event.
It wasn't new core at the time. At the time, it was just some experimental format that no one had tried yet. But now it's new core.
See, they seem so that the format that we run at HithCon is so good that they made it official. That's how I see it.
I mean, I think Grand Foss is here. Yeah. This is exactly what happened. Yeah, I feel like the last few weeks have been like it's been impossible to keep up with the news about new core. Obviously, the set was released and the core rotation happened, but I feel like I've been hearing about new hot decks like every day almost. Whether it be control or farm or aggro or combo or everyone's got full of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a few pieces of information here at this tournament, but it kind of felt like it was just saying, actually, everything is good.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about the decks that were there as well as the tournament as it happened. We were both there. We both did all right, I think. And I was first.
Finishes first in the tournament. I did all right, I guess. It's funny, if I didn't tie against Byte, we would have top 4 with the same score, 3-1.
Yeah.
But I did tie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so I was going to ask, in your opinion, would you say you did all right?
I think I got lucky. I don't think the deck performed that well.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, shall we just go straight to it, I guess?
Yeah.
Okay. So, usual, we're gonna go from 8th place to 1st place. Starting us off with Dan here in 8th. 3-1. Nobody left without at least something to celebrate, even if it was just a draw. Draws are always worth celebrating because they make the judge so mad at you.
Hey, I was not mad. And I was the judge. You know what I was mad about? Going to the stream room every 2 minutes.
Sorry.
It's like I'm playing a game and then my phone vibrates. And then I'm playing a game, I come back, I sit down, immediately my phone vibrates. It was great. We had like 5-minute extensions. I had 5-minute extensions like every round.
Perhaps it's the commentators who should be apologizing for bothering you so much.
It's not their fault either.
It's not. They were excellent and very diligent in making sure we all follow the rules.
So You're saying that we should hire Hitch.
I think he would make a pretty good judge.
Judge or commentator?
You would need okay. Obviously, it's a commentary is a two-way street, right? You need maybe Hitch Izzy would be a fine commentator pair.
Ah,
Right. You need to have a hype person, and you need to have someone who understands the rules in depth.
yeah. Or Pip.
Yeah, good point there too.
You
Good
could have
point.
Zip and Pip. That'll be a good.
That would be a good pair too. Yes.
Yeah. But although I don't think Zip would like it. But yeah, whatever. That's our tangent for the day.
Our first.
Haven't
even
one of
started
them.
talking about our decks yet. You know that's going to be fun.
So yeah, GP mentions that this is a complicated deck to play. I didn't have a chance to play against this. Did not get paired with Dan.
Neither did I, unfortunately.
But I heard this deck frightens.
There's a bit of that, I would say, yes. Between these count. 1, 2, technically 3, 4. No, Legion of Doom doesn't actually do any frightening itself. 4, 5. I mean, there's enough of them. There's enough of them. Yeah. There's a lot of frightening going on here.
Yeah, GP says Blue Disruption package in New Core is so good. I mean, yeah, it's not just Sepulchre attack anymore or stop fighting.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much more.
I mean, Spitfire was technically part of it too, for most decks that did it. But yeah, it's just blue. It is relatively easy to slot in anywhere because the requirements are pretty low on all the cards to make it up. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And good thing about Friday and stuff. Interesting thing about Friday and stuff in the context of this set is the set is all about counters, and frightening stuff is a good way to remove counters.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it is soft removal still, it's not hard removal, but the fact that it removes counters is fairly good, unlike other forms of soft removal, like moving stuff.
Yep. Moving. Temporary loss of abilities doesn't remove counters.
Yeah.
Other stuff will do that. And then as kind of pause. We're the people supposed to be doing the analysis here. Yes. Once you've got stuff frightened, Legion of Doom is your win con to start generating points off of that.
Yep.
Oh, I forgot that
I'm
Opaline
sure
is a villain too. Yeah.
But she's a villain? That's news to me.
Yes.
I didn't even see she's a villain. Never came up in my games.
Really?
Nope. I think there's only one deck I played against who had Opaline, and I don't have any friends with the problem at the time.
Sure. I mean, her other ability is I think the main reason you run it anyway. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
We're not short on villains in core anyway, so.
Are we not? Like, okay, we have Grogger.
And is that not enough?
And we also have the Maniac, right? She's called Maniac?
Yes.
The non-epic villain, that card. So, and nobody runs her. So, like, yeah. This deck could run her. I guess there's no space, but like in theory it could.
In theory it could, yeah.
But I guess it's like has enough Frighten as is, and Villain is a two-sided Frighten, and it's like, yeah.
I'm gonna shout out to Bottle Dragonfire as well. I did not. Granted, I didn't. We haven't done our full look at all the cards in the set, but like I didn't
Soon.
realize. Yeah, it's coming up soon. Every second it gets closer. Anyway, yeah, this card's pretty crazy, honestly.
It is. It reminds me of guidance, not guidance counselor. The unnerfed Fluttershy. You know, the one where when you play the Llama, you gain an 18 and draw a card.
Oh, that one. Yeah,
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 this
yeah.
is kind of that, except it's for anything that costs one. You can just keep.
Mhm.
Well, yeah,
Well, friends that cost one.
friends that cost one. Yeah, you can keep playing them.
Hmm.
Which I mean, this deck has none of them, so it's not infinite value, but you can like still. It's kind of like gain 180 at that point, right?
Yeah.
If you're not using it more than once, then it's basically gain 180 per turn, which is still good. It's an 80 gen.
So wait, I'm trying to. I mean, this is getting into ridiculous. I'm thinking of something really ridiculous and stupid, and I don't know if it's
Okay.
because like in Harmony, you can have a deck full of breezies, which of course cost zero, but you can
Yes.
donate a spoons to
When you
your
pay at
opponent
least one. Oh, spoons. But
to
like
make
just
all your breezies cost one, and then they
just
cite
but like just play one cost friends.
just or they're already zero
Like
cost friends. So why are you doing this? Um, yeah,
like you have rainbow you have so many one cost friends that you can do this with.
yeah.
See, it would work. It would make sense if you had like a fake one cost friend, that costs one but like gives you an 80 or something.
Right, right.
Like you can play Orange You Glad forever with this. Uh if you have a way to get it back somehow.
Right. Anyway,
What
the
does this deck
cards.
exhaust to draw cards from Tracking Fire?
Uh,
Oh, Allura, I guess.
Phyllis exhausts.
Yeah, Phyllis, Allura,
Mm-hmm.
Legion of Doom. Yeah, plenty of options.
Has to be character. You don't exhaust Turek to do his thing, do you?
I don't think Tyrek exhausts now.
Okay. And we're
But
not
yeah, I
playing.
kind of want to play this deck at some point. It seems very interesting. I have not had a chance to play against it ever, so I want to play as it to see how it works,
Mm-hmm.
to see what I'm up against. And yeah, uh, pardon the pun, but like, it looks terrifying, frightening.
Yeah, Anamoy. Get prepared
Yes,
does. Yeah, it'll do any tricorn you want. Well,
yeah,
the next one you play.
yeah. You still have to like hard play them, but get prepared is a good way to get the tricorn into play.
Well, nowadays tricorns cost three, so not even that bad.
Yeah, breaking the consistency.
It's a new block. We're allowed to do new things.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I mean, so long as they all cost three for this block, right?
Well, no, we don't know what the new thing is. Maybe the new thing is that they all cost different now. Like, that would still be consistent within the block, right?
I suppose. Yes.
If they're all different, or like if most of them are different, that's still consistent.
Like, that's. I'm trying to think. Like, could you ever print a one cost tricoin? That would be such a weird card design.
I mean, you have a lot of like one cost really powerful friends. I remember like Rockhoof, the ultra rare.
Right.
Like something like that could be a tricorn. Except more.
Maybe. I mean, but that sounds like it would be crazy good.
With Get Prepared, it would be crazy good. Without Get Prepared, like it would be like the hard part here is to have 3 colors, right? It's a
Well,
one cost friend you could not play in the beginning,
I
but
mean, like,
with Get Prepared you can.
tricorns, like, you know, they've never been played, right? Requirements have never been a problem for decks that play tricorns anyway.
This deck plays tricorns.
That's a fair point. It's a fair point.
The other deck we'll be looking at also plays tricorns. So
I
a bunch
suppose
of
it is a new block
decks.
and things are allowed to change. Yes.
Even before the new block, non-reanimator decks played tricorns. Luna Midnight was sometimes played. The Twilight, the yellow purple. What's the last one? What's the last?
Orange.
Orange, right? She's orange. People sometimes played her, like especially in Alicorn decks. But they had Flash there, so I don't know if you still count that as playing on Tricorn, but I would say yes.
Yep.
Also, kind of a side point again. I never noticed how in Legion of Doom the traits barely fit into the box. It looks silly.
It's a little silly. That's 6 traits. Probably the most you can get. Well, I mean, some of those are pretty long words.
Yeah, Changeling.
It wasn't a change. Yeah, Changeling could be 2 traits if it was like Full and Elder or something.
Yeah. Hey, there's royalty in there. Okay, time to find the trait that's missing. And like complains like, oh, it should have 7 traits. Anyway,
yeah, let's move on.
let's go to Max's deck. I like
There's-
this deck. Yeah?
I was gonna say, given that our next stream is gonna be like 10 hours long, there's an argument to be made for like starting to do the endurance training and maybe try to stretch out this one. Get ready for that
Sure.
marathon. But
We'll
let's
do
not.
4 hours, 2 hours per deck. 30 minutes per deck.
Sounds unreasonable.
I like this deck. It has Pip.
It
It
does.
has many Pips.
It does. So, somewhat similar to your deck. Somewhat,
Kind of. Yeah,
but
a little
not,
bit.
but not quite. Like, I mean, I see the 0 bars, Pip, and so I understand like, and the rarities. So like that piece was kind of what always stood out to me about your deck.
Yeah.
But less of the card control and more of the
Yeah, like mid,
Yeah.
kind of. You get handy, you have Crystal Bright House.
Mhm.
Although you only have Message from the Past and 1 Magic Restored card as far as I can see.
1 Magic Restored and Sunnies.
And Sunnies, yes, which is not a lot. I would say if I had to guess, I did not play against this deck. Didn't get a chance. But if I had to guess, it's pretty hard to score many points from Crystal Bright House. And like the only Magic Restored card you have here, it's kind of like Like the effect does not really contribute anything to the deck, as far as I can tell, right? Well, it's just kind of like Mel.
Yeah.
It's inspired. It's kind of like inspired, which is. Well, I guess there's another inspired card in here, so.
Okay, so we do have. I didn't get a chance to play this, but apparently it was on stream. So, Grandpa's mentioning Matilda doing well.
Yeah, Matilda is 2 power 4, 2 cost 4 power, essentially.
As long as all your problems have at least 2 wild requirement, which they do. So, yeah, makes sense.
I think you'd be hard pressed to find a problem that doesn't. Like, you either have wild requirement, and it's 2 or more, or you don't.
Well, yes. Right. Like, there's.
You don't want to run the problems that don't have wild requirements in a monocolor deck because all of them are not color and
Yes.
not color.
Yes. Yes. Which, yeah, fair enough. Um. So yeah. If you're, that actually makes a lot of sense to think about it. Yeah, if you're able to consistently do your own confronts, um, and not have to worry about that, then you can do the deck's other stuff, which is to say, yeah, disruption. You're sitting on single confront. You are putting your prepared unicorns into play with your summoning bell and your stellar flare, daring the opponent to make the move first. She'll turn into AT for all your fun. I mean, actually, it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Yeah. There isn't, like, aside from. So, look here. How many ways do you have to trigger Pip's ability? Is it just 0 bars?
Well, it's retiring to home limit, yes, which is not like 0 bars is not the only way that happens. You have
Well,
Flim and Flam, it just happens naturally.
right. Well, so I'm thinking, the what I just said of having your prepared unicorns in play, right? That's discouraging face-offs,
Yes.
which will tend to make less natural home limit retirement happen.
Yes. I wanted to comment on that. It's like maybe Summoning Bell is actually not the best. Well, Summoning Bell is a good card.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's like good enough on its own, even in an aggro deck when you like. But yeah, it's generally better if you have a wall to like really discourage them from point. Like if you have a troublemaker and 10 unicorns behind it, that's pretty good.
Okay.
uh, but I think if you take this deck into like more a mid range thing, I think Summoning Bell works less good. Like if I was making this deck, I would not. I would probably either get rid of the Summoning Bell and some other cards maybe, and go more into the Magic Restored thing. So that's like better point acceleration. Instead of Message from the Past, you do the Senior Batterscotch, and then uh, instead of like Sans, you put some other Magic Restored card, and then maybe sprinkle a Magic Restored problem, or you, or I don't know. That's the way I've envisioned this.
Okay. So, Paz is going through a whole diatribe of how Max played this much more full aggro, um, and just free power, starting the face off yourself, which, doing it that way, that makes sense. Like, Stellar Flare is not great because of the prepared, it's great because it's power efficient. Same for your Summoning Bell. Saddle Row, putting AT into playing stuff. Yes. Okay. That all makes sense. Now,
So is Summoning Bell here is just like +1 power?
Sure sounds like it.
I guess.
Yep. I mean, so taken that way, you look at the cost of all your friends and like, everything in here is actually super cheap. Which, yeah, that makes sense. As you said, Matilda is on the power curve, 2 for 4, really great.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, actually, kind of looks a little bit like an Octavia deck when you think about it that way.
Yes. Yes. Which is what I meant by like Pip is a mid-range main. Although, like, it doesn't. It's really weird. The deck really does not care about like this deck, other than 0 bars and Flim and Flam stuff, right? Really doesn't care that much what main it plays with. Because of the way Pip works. Like, it's really hard to build your deck around Pip, I would say.
But you're the guy who did it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Max does it too a little bit, right?
Right.
Flim and Flam and 0. Well, 0 bars is probably a good card on its own, even without Pip. It's really good. It's a board wipe, especially it's a one-sided board wipe often. So yeah, but yeah, adding Flim and Flam here is kind of a more leaning into okay, this is what Pip does. But
Yeah.
yes, you do want face-offs with this deck, I'm pretty sure, as often as possible. And that's how you abuse Pip.
Yeah.
I guess the only problem I see with doing like Flim and Flam and Pip is that you do face-off, everything goes home, and at the end of your turn, they like retire everything. And now you're like, okay, I can pay one and get one of their things in my home, which is it could be nice if it has a good effect, but if it's like just for power, you don't want it at home. You want it at the problem. I wish
Yeah.
Pip was not location restricted. That would make her so much better.
Wait.
It'll make her
Oh,
so much
here.
better at aggroing. Yes.
Yeah.
She puts a friend there, where she is.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. Like,
Which is like another reason I think it's a mid-range main and not a control main. Because like you want to move her to problems generally because
right.
of that.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, Max after the tournament, I think Max told me that he thinks doing it my way is better. But I don't quite agree. Like I think this has a lot of potential.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as I said, it seems like a cohesive product.
Yeah. I think if we get like more aggro-ish white cards,
Mm-hmm.
I think this deck could work really, really well. And if we get like more ways to use Pip, the main,
Mm-hmm.
maybe yeah. More ways as in next sets, not in this.
Right. Of course. Of course. Yeah, it's a good, it's a good solid starting point that is worth keeping in the back of your mind. And who knows? There may be improvements. There may be, maybe it's worth it to splash into a different color for some package that you need or something like that. Who knows?
We need a resource that just says the following sentence: all problems have problem limit 2.
Sorry, what? Oh, interesting. I feel like you need a bit more text to make that fully make
No,
sense.
the bit more text happens in the rules, just like with the
course.
home limit,
Of course. Of course. It's that's an interesting suggestion. Like
you could make it a attachment
case-
resource location like this problem has.
just in case anyone in the audience didn't quite get, I believe you were saying that we're essentially extending the concept of home limit to apply to any area in the game.
Yeah.
Discard pile limit, and that interesting. That doesn't make any
What
sense.
happens if you
Makes zero sense. Yeah.
do you retire cards from your? But like discard pile is a zone, not an area.
Yeah.
All right,
Anyway.
next deck.
Next deck.
We're 15 minutes per deck at this point.
Maybe it wasn't that ridiculous after all.
Oh, it's Cadence. I played against this.
You did? Okay.
Well, our game was on stream, and it was kind of, I don't want to say like one-sided necessarily, but I kind of built a wall, and I just said like, we had the status quo where I was like 2 points ahead. I would confront, he would confront. I would confront, he would. And I was like, I'm okay with this situation. I don't need to break this. I'm points ahead. So I was kind of sitting on all of my control tools doing nothing. And Minty was also kind of sitting, not doing much. And that's how our game went. And he never flipped his main, which was interesting. And I didn't realize that Cadence main actually says at the end of the turn. For half of the game, I was thinking, okay, if I force him to retire things, that's just gonna bounce them, like with 0 bars.
Right.
So I was avoiding using 0 bars until I was sure that like there's nothing that he could get back that would like be terrible for me. And then apparently that's not how a cadence works. Cadence specifically says at the end of a turn, it's like a trigger. Has nothing to do with the home limit actually. So it was Zero Bars is so much better against Cadence than I thought. And I should have been removing his board way earlier. But whatever.
Fair enough. Yeah, I was certainly expecting Cadence to get a lot worse with the rotation because we're missing so many of those cards that have defined blue pink ever since Defenders. Uh, the Hot Wings package, Belly Flop. Kind of those cards have been the engine of this kind of archetype ever since, far back as you can remember, right? Not as far back
Yeah.
as I can remember, but yeah. But it's been replaced with,
Oops, Soul Frighten.
well, yeah, that and Sunny and Argyle. Yeah, and the deck is different. It's moved and become a lot slower, right? You're missing the super aggro package of Rainbow Dash and Mullet and Angel Wings, all tipping you to go faster. Deck's a little bit slower, a lot more mid rangey, a lot more disruptive, but still Cadence doing Cadence things. And still, yeah, looks very effective, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but nothing is really gonna compare to Plushy Dash.
Yeah,
I don't think.
probably
It's
not.
pretty hard card to match. But like here you kind of have like Pastry Crest as kind of like, well, it moves one card instead of two, but
Yeah,
you know.
but it costs one less, has one less requirement, is still
Mm-hmm.
hasty.
Mm-hmm. So like it's mini mullet.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think. Look at. Do you get much value out of that ready? Misty and Izzy. Is that it? That might be it. I think that's the only card in this
You
deck you exhaust.
okay,
Well, at
then
least the only card you want to ready. Silver Stream you don't
you
want to
already
ready.
Silver Stream, then you pay one to not do it. That's the real play. Does
Yeah.
Cadence exhaust? Cadence does not exhaust. No, she does not.
No, she does not. But yeah, Misty and Izzy
but I
are kind
mean,
of crazy anyway, so.
yeah, they're really good. It's a lot of power. I mean, you do remove those counters to like control, but like get them to like good enough power and then start doing that. And like since you have a lot of cheap friends, you do tend to play a fair amount of card.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the power. It's free disruption. Yes. But like it's disruption and power. Like I don't know. I think like both are good, you know.
It's weird. You don't actually have that many hasty friends in here. I mean,
You have a lot of events. Actually,
okay.
not that
Well,
many.
no. I guess it's still a fair amount. It's Pastry Crest, Gal, Silverstream, Sunny and Argyle, and then Patch as well. Yeah. So I guess it's not.
And tactical maneuver, chaos, magic blast. That's a fair amount of cards here.
Yeah. I guess so. It's enough.
I wonder. No, never mind. But yeah, Cadence Blue, nice.
Mm-hmm. And actually, it's worth pointing out. If when you do get Cadence flipped over, you've got free counters there too. Which should be even better.
Yes.
Powering Misty and Izzy.
I wonder
etc.
if so. I know this is GP's deck, essentially. A lot of decks in this tournament were kind of GP decks.
But the guy's designing the cards and building the decks now? What?
So after it's like 4 decks in the tournament, RGP's decks. Spoilers. I wonder if because of Fleetfoot, it like I wish we had Party Mare. The Party Mare would be great on this deck.
Oh, Party Bear would be insane in this deck. Yeah.
I wonder if it's worth to have like an event that lets you move counters from cards, right? I don't remember what it's called. So we
Cold
can
Draw.
move counters from Fleetfoot to Misty and Easy.
Yeah, that's Cold Draw.
Cold Draw. Yeah, that one. Oh, this is Elfin's list. I only had 3. Oh, cool. So you just had like a collection of lists from people? Okay. I stand corrected. See, I did not think that my source would have more sources behind it.
Would that be worth it? That event costs 2, right? And
Does
is a. I thought I was looking at it before. I thought it cost 2. Oh, cost 1. Okay.
No, it is. Yeah, it was like 2 is too much for that effect.
Sure. Sure. Cost 1 is itself immediate, right?
Yes, it is self-immediate and redistributes any number of counters.
Right. From a card to another
Other
card of the
card.
same type. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Great for stealing opponents' counters.
Wait, it works on the opponent? I did not realize that. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I am going to steal all the counters on your Trixie.
No. Where are you gonna put them?
On various. so the funny thing is, as dismaying as it is to you, it's actually a pretty terrible play. Usually, when Trixie has like 6 counters on her, they're not going to get used for the rest of the game anyway. So
Yeah, it's bottlenecked.
yeah.
I wish Trixie said remove all counters, gain that much AT. I'm sure that would be fine. It's not like we've had cards before that basically reduce cost of all of your events by 1, and those cards were banned. No, that never happened.
I mean, yeah. Oh yeah, good point. Point with the Big Mac there.
Oh yeah.
But
Counters on your main? No, counters on my main. And then they play it back.
Good point. But yeah, let me see. So yeah, it's all +1 counters in this deck. It could be interesting. So you definitely do want to like there's value in sort of keeping your Fleetfoot sort of down a little bit, maybe. Right?
Yeah, but you don't have to remove all of the counters.
Yeah. You have to remove all. You just distribute them out, right? Yeah.
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 Also, remember another tangent, I guess, not by much. Remember how we during our game we were like wondering if moving counters or distributing
Yeah.
them.
No, I'm
once it's
aware
removing.
they changed that rule. Yes.
Yeah. So
Or clarified it at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which,
So.
yeah, I am definitely considering putting that in my deck, yes. For that reason.
Anyway, it's a consideration. I don't know if that would be good enough. Like, because Fleetfoot is the only card with power counters. I think if we had another Traveler card, like Party Mare, that would be amazing in this deck. Like, you would totally run that, I think.
Yeah. Technically, Cherry
Because, like,
Berry's
at the
Traveler
point-
as well, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Like, with Party Mare, when she's at 9 power, like, does it really matter if she's at 9 or 6? But yeah, Cherry Berry is a good point. Okay, do you want to move on?
Yes. Is it your deck next?
It's
Oh,
Yuna.
it's Bite next. Okay.
Yuna is too strong. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. I don't know if you've shared that with other people yet, and your reasoning.
I like mentioned. Well, the only thing I really said is that I think Yuna farm is one of the strongest decks in the meta right now. At least I don't know, like what's like. I heard Bugle has some convo, and it's like I don't know what that's all about. But out of the decks that I've seen, like in this tournament, at least I think Yuna is the strongest one.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me certainly. Um, that kind of, as you mentioned, it's quite easy, as in literally impossible, to construct your deck in a way such that your flip average isn't, minimum 4, and your median is probably going to be around 5 6.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that.
It's very high flips for no effort, and it's much harder to deal with troublemakers now. A fair amount of colors still have tools, but it's not as many tools, which I actually really enjoy. I like that. I can play a troublemaker, and now it actually, can stay for a while. And people don't just avoid fighting it; they sometimes have to fight it. But with Yuna, it's really easy to defend them for no cost at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for farm, it's really nice. And there's also Cloud Puff and all of the other stuff. Like I think Yuna farm is a strong contender. Your Yuna deck is also strong, but I think farm is a little stronger. That's my opinion.
Yeah, probably. Obviously, we all saw on stream. I played against Bite. It wasn't much of a contest, but from what I understand, he did much better. I guess I can see his Swiss record. He did much better in the rest of the tournament.
Yeah. He just needs to read the cards.
Yeah. And he's got tools in here certainly that should have probably done pretty well for me, like Shopkeep and Raccoon Rampage. Boy, if you full name drop my Opaline before, I mean, just in general, that's terrible for me. Yeah.
Also, Yuna versus Yuna also is a separate thing. Like all of the bonuses of Yuna are kind of cancelled.
Mm-hmm.
It's Yuna versus other mains that's strong. Yuna versus Yuna averages out to the same thing. Okay, we both double our flips.
Yep, pretty much. But yeah, there's a lot here that works just fine. As I mentioned, we're not short on epics at all, despite this being the opening of a new block, which is probably good news for farm in general moving forward.
Yeah, the epics that are there are pretty good as well. Gorger is really, really good. Nightmare Moon is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
Legion of Doom is really, really good. All of them are good.
Yeah, we've got a reliable 3-point epic. We've got a very good amount of utility on the other epics we do have. So yeah, it's a strong.
2 villains also really good.
Mm-hmm.
At least it's not all villains. Okay, do you want to move to the next deck?
Sure. Right,
although I guess we didn't really discuss too much about the deck itself other than Yuna strong.
Is there much more that needs to be said?
It's a new vlog, I think. Yeah, like I just realized we should probably talk about like the cards and stuff.
Oh, okay, sure. Let's go back.
Yeah. So Cloud Puff, great addition to farm decks.
Mm-hmm.
Or any deck really. If you run yellow, I think you're running.
Yeah. Yeah. She's an automatic. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's an automatic.
We need what that was white event that banishes the flipped card. That's what we need. Yes. It was Wrinkle in Time. That's the one that. No, that banishes Troublemaker. No,
that's Crack you're thinking of. Crack in the Case banishes Troublemaker.
Doesn't Crack... Okay, yeah, Wrinkle in Time then, sure.
Yes.
Okay. So yes, Cloud Puff is amazing. How about you? Consolation Prize is really good, but that's from the previous
Hmm.
thing. Station Hotline is pretty good because it can involve it's kind of like Vapor Trail, you know.
Hmm. Right. Yeah. No. 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 Yeah. No. I get you. Yeah.
Like so, like the thing about Station Hotline is that now you don't have to move your main anymore. You just need anything in the Troublemaker, and when you challenge it,
Hmm.
your main is involved or whatever is the highest power really, which is really good. And there's like a lot of ways here to like make critters, right? You have Luna, you have Birds of a Feather, the speech, not motivational speech, the other speech now. uh, so I think like Station High is kind of a hidden
Yeah.
amazing card in this deck.
Yeah. And Grandpa's points out it allows you to proc consolation prize on all the basically all the time.
Yes, yes, sure.
Pretty good.
And also Shopkeep, the highlight card of this meta according to Bugle.
Yep. I need to see that happen once. I haven't been paying much attention to the test. I just heard people raving about shopkeep turns. Aren't they the best
Yeah,
things ever?
same. I've never had Shopkeep played on me yet. Actually, no. When I played against Byte, he played the Shopkeep once.
Right. But he didn't do the thing.
No,
Yeah.
no. So one thing I'm wondering about is why Bright House is here.
Let's see. How many magic counter things does he have?
Spike.
Right, but that's not it only goes on itself.
Yeah. I don't think there's any other magic counter card in this deck.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, Grandpa's
Oh, it's a 7 flip for 0.
It's a 7 flip and it's a free resource. Yeah. So
And get Shopkeep. Okay.
that's not a bad point. That's not a bad point.
That doesn't. Yeah, slow alternative win con, but no. But yeah, just for the flip and 0 cost and Shopkeep is an interesting point. It's funny to see this card in that context.
I mean, it's honestly a fair point. Like, are we at that point where any 0 cost card is like, but it helps with your shopkeep turns.
Yeah.
Good enough if it helps with shopkeep turns.
Yeah. Well, one thing I'm glad about is that the Shopkeep only like revealed itself after the new set was released. So I'm technically not wrong.
You are technically not wrong. I'm gonna say
in my ratings.
Technically not wrong either. We're both technically not wrong. Well, you're technically not wrong. I am actually not wrong.
And it's funny because I think neither was technically correct either.
Probably not.
Anyway, now we can move on to the next.
Okay. I applaud your restraint.
Which is my deck. Pip pip hooray. So this deck was purple, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's pink. And it was so hard to build this deck. It's like I'm running pink, but I have no room for any good pink cards.
Mm-hmm.
Windy is really good, obviously, so she's in. Plurite is really good. Plurite is in. Patch I think is necessary in this matter, but also Patch helps you with your retire shenanigans to home limit. It's a good way to send everything home without doing a face-off at a problem.
Yep.
Message from the Past used to be here. I think it should still be here because I think repeatable patch is worth it, even though it's 480 per replacement, which is kind of expensive. But I think it's worth it. But that's it, right? That's all the pink there is here. It's barely any pink. No magic blasts, no pinky senses, nothing that makes pink good is here.
Mhm.
Can't run Fry Brains either because no counters, no magic counters other than patch. So, I mean, with message from the past, maybe it would make sense to make Fry Brains, but like now I have to have message from the past to use Fry Brains, which is kind of bad.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it's really hard to build this deck. There's a lot of good cards to include, and there's only 50 cards to choose from. And there's like everything else I really don't want to cut from here. The small pip is really good. I really like small pip. Easy is an amazing card. Easy is crazy amazing, I would say. Crazy amazing.
Hmm.
Like when I play the purple version against you, it has 0 easies. Now it has 3, and I think I want like 6. I want more easy in this deck because pretty much anything I bring back except like Pogsy, I
Right.
get a copy of, which is really really good. It's really good for anything. To take any card here, it's really nice to have an extra one. The 0 bars, I would love to have more of them. Windy, well, Windy is the only one, I guess that's whatever. Uh, Rarity, getting a copy of Rarity is especially fun because then you can have 4 of them, which means their home limit is 0 without any shenanigans.
Well,
Fluoride,
there's
amazing.
5 stuff happening on the opponent's side, but yeah.
Yes, unless they have 5. But most of them don't, so.
Hmm.
So like yeah, like, I don't know. It's really hard, and like we've before the tournament we spent a fair amount of time cutting stuff,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it
Well,
was really hard.
agonizing over cuts, yes.
And like I'm still not. I would not say I'm entirely happy with this deck, but I also don't know what to do with it. It's hard.
Sure. And so what's your missing problem?
It was stunning expose. It's not missing
Yeah,
anymore. It's 10. Oh, you have the old list.
I
I
suppose I
updated
do.
it. I updated it like a week ago. When did you pull this?
I pulled it. Oh, maybe I just didn't refresh the page. I had the
Probably
Reddit
not.
page open for a while, but I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I.
Well, okay, wait a second. I can probably fix it. Ah, yep, that link is not purple. That'll do it. Uh,
If you want 6, you have to change its name to Singing Barrel. Yeah, that's a good point.
just quickly
Singing Barrel, as we know, like Pakwaji, you can
put
have
its name back in.
any amount of them in your deck. Add a card that you exhaust to give you a color. Call it land and let people have any amount of them in their decks. So yeah, it was stunning expose.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have much to say. I think this deck controls fairly well. I think in a lot of games I won because of Summoning Bell. Summoning Bell behind the wall is kind of crazy. Like any wall, Sirens works, Winter Zero works, any Troublemaker and a Summoning Bell, and your life is so much nicer. Although I think against other pink decks it'll be a little sadder because they can just replace the problem with patch or Discord or whatever.
Right. Well, yeah, pink. Pink has that advantage of being in. Sorry, complete thought. As you mentioned, in the world with few dilemmas, at least few good ones, pink has the advantage of its problem replacement for dealing with troublemakers. Yeah.
Yeah. Which like I think it's a good thing that not like okay, this color has this advantage now. Before it was most colors can avoid troublemakers. Now it's just pink and yellow, I guess, right? I mean, blue still has some dilemmas,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not as many. So I'm liking this more troublemaker thing, even though I think Yuna is much stronger than Pip. Doing like Yuna things for control or farm is much better than doing Pip things for control.
Right.
But 0 bars is really good. I'm really impressed with 0 bars. Good card. I think that's all I have to say.
Bugle had brought up Nova Charm, which I know it was a card that we cut, right?
Oh, Yeah, so Nova Charm, we cut it twice. Well, I cut it twice because I had it and then I cut it, and then we started with Cursed. We added it back, and then I cut it again. So Nova Charm is there's two things about Nova Charm. Thing number one, I don't know what I would remove from this deck to add Nova Charm. That's one of the things. Second thing is that generally none of the friends I have here I want to retire. That are highest power. Like most of the time it would be Patch or Posey and sometimes Giorno, right? And like Giorno, retiring Giorno is kind of fine. It's whatever. But Patch and Posey, I don't think I want to retire them. Especially if I bring back Message from the Past, I definitely don't want to retire Patch. If I don't bring Message from the Past, maybe retiring Patch is fine. And if I don't have Posey or Patch, even two power friends, I guess Stellar Flare and Easy are fine to retire, but Rarity is something that I don't want to retire, for example, or Plurite. So it's kind of like I don't know. I would need to play with it to really get the feel whether I'm fine with retiring things or not. To get something maybe from the opponent. But yeah, but I don't know what I would remove for Nova Charm here. But yeah, Nova Charm is good with Pip Main. And Fashion Overload as well. But I don't know what I would remove for it, and I don't know if I would want to retire my own things. So, nah.
Yeah, no, I agreed with your logic then, and I think I still do.
It was kind of your logic though. Like you said that, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Next up is Anemoy. Playing Twilight, mono purple, all magic counters. Perhaps that's the...
Anemoy playing purple? Never.
Mm-hmm.
So this is combo shenanigans.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I did not play against this. Did you?
I did. Was it my third match? I think it was. No, wait. Were you my third match or my second match?
You think I remember? That was like 2 weeks ago.
Okay, because it was Bite was my first match, and I know Cheese was was my last match, and then and then it was you and Anemoy somewhere in the middle there. I don't remember if you were third or or second. Anyway,
my last match was against Bite. I think you were my third because before that I was 2-0.
Okay.
That's how I would be paired against you, I guess.
Okay. Yep, that makes sense. So this would be my second game then. Yeah, it was a really really interesting game because Anemoy missed all of his draws, and so for the first 5 or 6 turns he was just drawing cards and discarding stuff, and I got a little bit set up, troublemaker, Opaline, and I'm just sitting there waiting for him to play a friend, and trying to in my free time looking at a discard pile trying to figure out what on earth is he trying to do. Because, deck's reading like a combo, right? Just drawing cards and gaining AT.
Yeah.
And
something is up.
Yeah. And whenever I confronted a problem, he would just play a Harshwinny and set me back. It was really, really, really annoying.
Good.
But yeah. And then eventually he played Bright House and it was like, oh, okay, this is the game. And luckily I had a Bright House too, so it turned into a magic counter race, which I was able to win, thank goodness.
Yeah, I think this can be reasonably fast, right? Because of Prisbeam. Do you do this combo without Prisbeam? I don't think you do, right? You need Prisbeam before you do anything.
Prisbeam sure helps, yeah.
Yeah, it's just not as efficient if you don't do Prisbeam. We were at 280 per turn forever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with Prisbeam, you need to play 7 cards other than Prisbeam to win, right? From straight up for Bright
Uh,
House.
I guess if you're gonna go all in one, yeah.
Well, I mean, even if not an all in one, you would need to play at least
Well,
7 cards over
I
the
mean,
course of the game.
I hope you're gonna confront a problem somewhere in there.
Sure, you could confront a problem. Okay, then maybe you can get away with like 6,
Right,
or a little less. Sure.
right.
So 6 cards is a lot of cards, though, right? If you
Well,
look at like Magic Restore stuff here,
it
you get
is,
Pep.
it is, but I assume you're procking shopkeeps somewhere in there and actually making it not that big of a deal.
Sure. Shopkeep gives you free AT, which is one of the friends essentially here, right? Because if we look at Magic Restore stuff,
Yeah.
2 of the free friends are free AT. And you're not putting counters on Pip to get that AT back. I'm
Mm-hmm.
assuming. So I guess what I'm wondering is I didn't look at the cost curve of Magic Restored cards for other colors. But if there's like a cheaper color to play Magic Restored, then wouldn't that the color of wouldn't that be a color of choice?
Uh, well, I mean, you do still get like fairly significant AT gain out of this. Like small discount from spell for that. Tranquility
Yeah,
is still significant.
sure. Tranquility is really really good. Yeah.
Um,
Huh. I guess all of the colors. I know not all of them, but most of them are like free AT cards for Magic Restored
they are
with
generally
like
380.
a
Yeah.
2 sprinkled in. So yeah, I guess purple is the best choice then. Yep. Yep. Okay. Yeah, because in purple you get tranquility, and there's a spell for that, and I don't know if you use Princess Twilight a lot. I guess if the opponent is ahead.
I mean, I think you just use it. I'm pretty sure NOA used it every turn in his game
No,
against
no,
me.
no, no. I meant the Headmare.
Oh, that one. Oh, sure, sure, sure. Uh,
It's useful if the opponent is ahead, and you can copy Tranquility, which is
yeah,
really, really nice.
yeah, yeah. Probably tranquility.
So
It's
Bugle would say that this. Oh no, no, go ahead.
well, yeah. I was gonna probably just agree with you that you're like, yeah, people getting to 8 points, like, yeah, it's the opponent who's gonna get 8 points first.
Yeah, I assume you don't do that here. Bugle
Yeah,
would probably say this deck needs 3 shopkeepers, and I think like that's true. There's if you run 1, you run 3 of them, right?
I think that's how that works.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
What?
if it's worth it to run one, it's worth it to run three, especially because the other copies make like they all make themselves better
Yeah.
the more of them you have. So yeah.
Okay, but what you really do? Okay, are you ready for this? This is the best deck ever.
Mm-hmm.
You run 3 easies, and you put all of your shopkeepers into the discard pile. So you play an easy, you get a copy of the shopkeeper and 1 in your hand, and then you play the shopkeeper, doubling your shopkeepers.
Kind of interesting.
That's how you get 24 AT. Well, kind of. Don't mind the fact that playing easy costs you 4 and the shopkeep. But see, it does not matter for uniqueness because easy gives you a copy of the shopkeeper and it gives you shopkeeper back into your hand. So you banish the copy first and then you play the one in your hand.
Mm-hmm. You didn't play the copy though, so it can't trigger the friend. But yes.
Yes, sure. But like you played easy, so it is still a friend.
Ah,
Like
yes. Yep.
easy.
No, no, no. Yep. There you go. That makes sense.
But yeah, free shopkeepers. I would probably cut maybe high tea for that. Is high tea really the best like AT gen we have? Did this
Uh,
deck not use Trixie?
Yeah, I think you could arguably put Trixie in here instead. You'd have a
Get some spell
similar
checks in here.
problem in that, like, you would end up with 20 spell counters and you would never use them all. But
But that's fine. But like, at least you're not giving a T to your opponent, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I would put Tricks in here.
Slowish on events, I guess that's
I
kind
think
of
it's
true.
fine, and you like it reduces the cost of message from the past to 1.
Right.
I think you run neither. Maybe I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know if this deck needs an AT gen at all, but if it does, I would rather have Trixie than High T. I think. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
cool deck,
so
and
yeah. I kind of get where Bugle's coming from. Like, this isn't the kind of deck where you're going to consistently play events every turn.
what does Pip has to do with any? Like, I don't think you put counters on Pip. Do you?
Sorry? Wait? No.
Bugle says that like this deck has an AT gen and that is Pip, and I was like, do you put counters on Pip?
Oh.
Like, do you? I think what I assume, at least from what I assume, the way you play this deck is that you don't really play your Magic Restored if you don't have Bright House. But do you even play cards if you don't have Bright House? I mean, I guess if you got it from the spell for that thing. Yeah, only the first gives the opponent AT, but like, you need 3 of them. Confronting is viable, sure. But like, Pip is not really an AT gen. You need to keep putting counters on her. Like, I don't think Pip is an AT gen. I don't see her as that.
Probably, like, not in the same way we're used to thinking about them, right?
It's you're trading one resource for the other, which is you're trading a magic counter for the AT. That's
Yeah.
what you're doing.
Unless
If you have
you.
no other way to spend that counter, sure. But like,
Yeah.
it's not an AT gen per se.
It's an interesting thought. Because, like, you know, there are ways to repurpose that magic counter into some very interesting magic economies in this set. Magic counters flowing around.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Unfortunately, you can't use Call the Drop to move counters from Pip to Bright House. Then,
that
if that was the case, that'll be good.
that sounds very intentional. Very
That would
intentional.
be good. You stack counters on Pip. Like, it would not be insane, I think, because like they can remove Pip before you do that, and then you lose all of your progress. And it's easier generally to remove friends than to remove resources,
Uh,
especially in the new core.
sure.
Speaking of, I'm surprised to not see that event resource removal here.
Oh, the purple one.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that would
probably needs
make
to
a
be
lot of
here.
sense here.
That probably needs to be here. Yeah.
Like maybe instead of Winterzilla. I mean, I don't know if like all of the troublemakers here are to be annoying,
hmm
except Winterzilla.
Well, yeah. I mean, you need to have resource removal of some kind. So,
Use Cloud to make people resource. Cloud works the other way around. Cloud makes resources friends.
yes.
Ah, but you turn Bright House into a friend. Then you move counters from Pip into the Bright House. And then you remove Cloud to give yourself abilities back. Okay, yes, that's my kind of thing. Yes. Good thinking, Anamoy.
That does work.
It does work.
It
It's
involved,
not
but
it
yeah.
maybe not good, but it does work.
I mean,
That's all I care about.
is it even that bad? Right? Right House does cost 0.
Yeah, but you need to play Claude and then you need to remove Claude. Like you need to turn it off somehow, otherwise you
Mhm.
will not be able to do Bright House things.
Mhm. I don't know.
You could play another cold drop to remove the puppet counter to move it somewhere else. Mayonnaise would also work, yes.
Yeah, I mean there are ways to do this, and like frankly, any scenario that lets you somewhat surprisingly move lots of counters onto Bright House, I think is worth like giving at least some consideration to.
Sure.
Because it's not just points; it also draws you a pile of cards.
Yeah. Okay. Do you
Okay,
want to get to the next deck?
sure. Next deck is Jesus deck. Is your
Ah, so Jesus losses against me.
yes, my loss was to him as well.
He dared. Well, not as well. He lost to me. I did not lose to him.
Yes.
He dared to play Pinkie Pie against me. And I'm like, yoink, my Pinkie Pie now.
Oh, ouch.
And Cheese was really annoyed by the fact that he cannot discard any friends because I might get them. It's like, yeah, this deck works a lot of the like having stuff in your discard pile or ponies and then like bringing them back or playing them through the crystal, I guess. Well, playing through the crystal only matters for Pinky in this deck, but
Right.
like, and I guess Sprout in some scenarios, maybe. But yeah, anything else he discards will get into. I will try to get it with Pip.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he played Diamond Tiara against me, and he thought it was a good play. And I thought, okay, but would it be really funny if I had that Diamond Tiara? So now, when you remove Playwright, you don't get the friend back.
Ay, ay, ay.
And when I play Playwright, you don't get any friends. Like, even getting me a chance to have Diamond Tiara would have been really good for me, I think.
Wow. Pip and Diamond Tiara, best combo.
Yeah, maybe I should play Pip, Orange, Pink. And those colors make sense because Orange, like, there's like hand disruption in there, and Pip works with that too.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's when they discard a card or retire a friend. I haven't tried Pip Orange. I kind of wanted to at some point. Anyway.
Don't have a whole lot of time for Continentals.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you have plenty of time to experiment the set in general.
Yeah. So this deck.
Yeah. Once upon a time, there was a card called Follow My Lead that people just discarded and never played. And it assumed a role as being the card that buffered your discards. And someone over at Sim, I think, decided, you know what, let's just print a card that explicitly says use it this way, rather than make it, bit of a trick you have to see. And so we have Message from the Past.
Yeah.
Card that you can discard without discarding it.
What's funny, it was specifically changed at the last like if you look at the not the latest but like revision 3 of the beta, Message from the Past was a replacement modifier, which meant you cannot actually discard it to costs.
Right.
But now it's a trigger. So for a short period of time, it enters your discard pile. So Blindfold works great against it, actually. Not that we have Blindfold anymore.
Well, wait. The trigger is if it would enter your discard pile, not when it enters your discard pile.
No, it's when this card enters your discard pile from anywhere, banish it. You may banish it.
That's not the text of the card I'm looking at.
Do Control F5. That's the old text you're seeing.
Oh, fair enough.
Or maybe RS Pony Head was RS Pony Head
Nope,
was
you're right.
updated.
Okay, yeah, sorry, my apologies.
Yeah. See, it was changed at the last moment. That's what I'm saying.
I guess so. I guess so.
So yeah, it's a trigger now. But yeah, this deck has a lot of discard pile synergy. It kind of mills itself. That's why there's Roctor right here. It's pretty good. And like you don't care about milling yourself because your stuff in discard pile, most of it you can just take back. Not everything, but like a lot of it. Every single friend here, except like a couple, is an Earth Pony. A couple is Buffergan is not Earth Pony, Windy, Silverstream. That's it? Minuet, that's right. So yeah, it's pretty good. A lot of removal, as in pink usually does, and orange does as well. In form of Melted and Midnight Snack and Windy. Yeah, it's a really nice little deck.
Yeah, it was a frustrating match to play. Certainly, so I thought I was gonna win because I was ahead when we went to time, and I was holding he had built himself out and he had his rock turrets, right, and all he had to do was confront a problem and he would win. But I was holding a patch and I figured I could prevent him from confronting, but he won with the still partying instead.
Yeah. But like patch against this deck is also like they can melt it, they can midnight stack it, they can windy it. No, they cannot windy it actually, but they can do those two things.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know what was in his. I guess I should have. I'd probably seen like his whole discard pile. But anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised this deck got 3-in-1. And I guess Pip is kind of a good counter to this deck.
It is. Worth pointing out. Yeah, Izzy's pretty good.
Easy is every turn you get the card back from your discard pile. And like recursion has always been really good. Can't get events, that's the only thing. Friends and resources are a fair game.
That's true. That's impressively flavorful.
See, that's what I said when we revealed the mains in the first time. But you did not know why yet.
I did not know why yet. Now I do.
And I told you, this card is very flavorful, but you don't know why yet. But now you do. It's very flavorful, yes.
It is.
It is Unicycler.
See, and
I did
thought
explain to you at that time that
yes, there's no unicycles involved anywhere.
Yes, nothing to do with unicycles. It's unicorn recycling.
Somewhat unfortunate.
I don't know. I like unicorn recycling program.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
Putting it in top 5 isn't the guarantee you'll hit it there. I mean, sure. But it gets back into your deck, and I think that's worth enough. Especially in a deck that mills itself, like you will have a smaller and smaller and eventually empty deck.
Yeah, it particularly in that end state where you just want a still partying to be the last card in your deck.
Yeah, or like it's also a good way to get back removed Roctorates. If somebody dismissed your Roctorate.
Or sorry, no. You do not want still partying to be the last card in your deck. You want there to be a card in your deck to trigger.
Yes.
Yeah,
you can. Well, you can also use Pinky Sense for that, but easy is one way to do it. Yes. So yeah, it's just because GP how many times he'd put Windy on top 5 and then flip it in the next face off. Yeah, sure. Just don't do that. Or put the card on top and then pay 5 to draw.
Spoken like a true purple player.
Yeah. Guess purple is the color that draws base to draw the most because like I have so much AT, I might as well.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did have a chance to play this deck. But I played it against the combo deck, which meant the entire game was me holding 3 midnight snacks in my hand.
Oh.
Until I won.
Fair enough.
Okay, do you want to move on to the next step?
Sure, I suppose.
What is this deck? I've never seen this deck before.
You have.
Yeah.
Seen it. So
my only loss is to you.
Yeah, like this was brought up during the sim stream, and I need to actually go look at the deck, at the physical build. I think there might have actually. I think I might have given you the wrong list, and there might actually be foolish argument in there. Because I have this. I think I have a memory of playing it against Cheese, or having it come up against Cheese, possibly. But anyway, like it definitely should be in there.
Yeah.
Preface with that. Yeah. Quick story. For those of you who don't know me, I was a huge fan of Pink Yellow Control before it was even a thing. Back when Strawberry Sunrise. What a fun card.
I remember our anniversary game.
Yep. So it's still a appreciable percentage of our lives spent playing that game.
Yeah. Those 2 hours.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I was looking through the set, just kind of top to bottom, looking for cards that struck me as like, oh, maybe I should put that in a deck. And that was when I found a card that is almost exactly Strawberry, has one more requirement and totally different text.
So not like Strawberry at all.
That being Ophaline. And I was like, yo, I always wanted to make -1 power counters a thing. This card looks like it makes -1 power counters a thing. Let's do that. And yeah, I like Yuna came because like I was looking at the yellow mange and there was nothing that really stood out, and I was like, oh wait, Cheese did a Yuna control deck back in the day, didn't he? Yes, he did. And so that seems fine. Throw that in. Throw it in.
Yuna is really good at that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. All the Magic Restored cards I could find, which, like, the ones in yellow are not particularly control-oriented. They're all right. I played Sugar Moonlight against you, didn't I? I feel like I did.
Sugar Moonlight?
The one that bounces stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
The fact that it works on Troublemakers is actually pretty. That's fairly
yeah.
Easy. But yeah.
You were bouncing my poses. Rude.
I was. It was very fun.
Rude. So I don't think Hitch is a good. So here's my experience playing against this deck. He plays Sunny Troublemaker. I have 7 power at that problem. I cannot defeat Sunny. I have tried like 3 times and I failed every time because of Yuna and her doublings. He was like, "Oh, I flip for 6."
Yeah, I was extremely impressed with Sunny. I thought, yeah, whatever, 0 points, provides a magic counter. It's gonna die immediately. Whatever.
Yeah, it does not die immediately because you're playing Yuna.
Yeah.
Like I think if you put Hitch into this deck, the deck becomes significantly worse because you can't sit behind walls anymore. I mean, you still can. It's not even comparable to how good it is.
We'll see.
I think.
Yeah. And so yeah, Yuna has the benefit that you play Troublemakers, you don't have to really do anything with her. I mean, maybe it's nice if she's involved in the first face off, but like whatever. the first time the opponent challenges one of your troublemakers, she's gonna flip. Probably. I mean, there are fours in here,
Yeah.
fives, but like she's probably gonna flip. And that's great. Like you're not even sad about using Cloud Puff as entry because if you put it on top of the deck, you flip a 3 and your main flips, and now you're fine on entry anyway. So
Yeah.
Yeah, people have brought up Message from the Past versus Senor Butterscotch. I know the deck needs one of the two of them, for sure. The logic is that, like, yes, this deck does confront problems, but doesn't always confront problems. I think Message is better in a control-oriented environment.
Versus control.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I agree with you. I think Message in this deck is better than Senor Butterscotch. That's what I think.
Admittedly, I think I sideboarded Message in all of my games. So, yeah.
Even against me? I
guess. I need to spend more time thinking about what the actual sideboards are. Like, I'm pretty sure in all of my games I sideboarded out the 2 singletons and nothing else. I was just playing 48 cards the whole tournament.
Butterscotch flips Yuna. So here's my counterpoint. First of all, if you're putting Butterscotch in here, I think you put more than one. And second, Butterscotch is kind of like win more. Like you need to be confronting to get magic counters. And Message from the Past is better when you're losing. Like if you can't confront anything, you're in a terrible situation. Maybe that extra magic counter can help. Well, Senior Butterscotch does not do anything.
Yeah, possibly. The other thing I'll say is -1 power counters are, as you're well aware, HithRock, they're really, really good for denying the opponent colors.
Yes.
Like, yeah. Just plonk them on their entry friend, get them down to 0, and yeah, watch while they squirm trying to find more entry. It's great.
Time to do a combo deck where you keep recycling. I don't know how you do it. You figure out that how. But you recycle Cold Drop to whenever they play a friend, you immediately bring it down to 0 by like moving 10 magic counters.
Yeah. I mean, like, that works in theory. You just need the cycle. Yeah.
You just need to figure out how to keep replaying Cold Drop, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is hard. Recycling events is generally hard.
Generally hard.
You could use easy, but then you need to recycle easy, and that's hard.
How does... I need to look up some of the ultra rares in this set that I forget how they work. So you can definitely, like, you can get 2 at least if I was willing to throw Corkboard in. Like, I can cork my...
Yeah, but so
drops.
Corkboard is not good for combo stuff because you only get that event once more. And that's
vanishes.
It's done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is unfortunate.
I mean, you know, how much entry does the opponent's deck have? If I'm playing against you and I only get to play Cold Drop 6 times, then that's fine. Taken care of.
I have easy. I can recycle my entry. Unicycle easy with easy main. Yeah, you can do that. It's only once per turn. Clearly, easy should have been an Earth Pony, so we could use Earth Pony Crystal. That would be good. That would be good.
But yeah. Deck was super fun. I felt like I didn't actually do Opaline stuff very much. Like, against Bite, you know, it was, yeah, a little bit.
Against me, you did not do Opaline stuff at all. I think I just removed her immediately.
Yeah.
Like, the reason you won was you had Sunny, I could not beat her, and then you started using Sugar Moonlight with like Priest Beam to keep bouncing my stuff, and I was like, okay, I guess that's the thing now.
Yeah, yeah. And against Animoy, I didn't because he didn't play any stuff. And against Cheese, I didn't because I think I just never found her, and she wouldn't have been particularly useful anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But against other decks that actually play friends, um, probably pretty good. Although I've been hearing rumbles of combo on the horizon, and I assume probably do badly against those.
How many tree houses did you play?
Just
Asks Bugle.
just the one against Bite. Yeah, great when you can get it down, but you do need to be fairly stable to be able to get it down. I suppose, like probably in all the games I played, I probably could have played it if I drew it. Yeah, I would have loved to play it against you, and against Animoy
Would
is
you?
hard.
Against me, it would help you to defend Sunny even more. But otherwise, a lot of my cards are less about power and more about being annoying.
Right.
Like if my posy is 2 power, that's worse for you.
That is actually well, no. Yeah,
Yes.
no,
Because
yeah,
you
yeah.
can't bounce her anymore.
That's right.
Like, please play your treehouse, please.
Yeah, no, good point.
Yes, a treehouse dismisses thing. That's the strongest part of it. But unlike with like,
Right. It would have dismissed your pip. That actually would have been useful.
sure, I like Pip so much. Good card.
It is a good card.
It seems like White feels pretty good and pretty strong right now, but like everything else is somehow stronger still.
Well, yeah.
Blue has all the Frighten. You here do your magic restored stuff, you know?
Yeah, that's like notwithstanding that it makes you sad, I think that's good for the game.
The fact that white is not the best color.
The fact that everything has got something to build off of going forward.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm not saying anything about that.
White and you know, small sample size, right? It is entirely still possible for Bugle to win Continentals with a white deck like every year, right? Or whatever.
But also, I'm pretty sure Bugle is not playing white this year.
Could be. Oh, that's right, Animoy. I did play Treehouse against you. That's true. And it was
But it didn't do anything, right?
Broadly a waste of PT. Yes.
Because, like, yeah. 3 cards with white requirement. Are any of them Pip? I'm guessing the answer is no. Okay, no playmats. Anyway.
All right. I think I've babbled about this long enough.
Yeah. We are at 1 hour 40 minutes mark.
Is it? It's 1 hour 30. 1 hour 35.
38 on the Twitch time. Oh, well, I guess there's... Yeah, sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I call that pretty good. Yeah. So about next stream.
Yeah. Next stream is going to be a stream.
It's
just like any other stream, right? Just like any other stream, right?
Just like any other. Well, in that it'll be filled with rambling, meandering tangents. Yes.
Yeah. So 15 minutes per card.
This set's even bigger than other sets too, like slightly. It's like 160
Yes.
or something. Um, what like did we try to do like 2 minutes per card or something, and it still worked out to like 10 hours?
I mean, try is a word to use here, because I think we wanted to do that. I don't think we ever did that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at this point, just accept it. Clear your calendar. Eat lunch before and eat dinner after.
Yep. I think it's gonna be 8 to 10 hours. That's my guess, and 6 if we're being fast about it.
Yep.
If we try to be fast, it'll be 6 hours. But I don't think we will be fast because so you know how so here's what's interesting to me at least. In a lot like in previous sets, a lot of the cards were like kind of filler cards where you like see okay, that's maybe good for draft. Move on, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot less of that in this set. I think a lot of cards have actually potential to be used in like constructed format, especially magic restored stuff, right?
That's the thing.
Which is
Yeah.
which is why I'm thinking we'll spend longer than usual on this set in particular because there are more cards to talk about.
Yes. Yes. There are far fewer cards. Like, yeah, as you said, like the entry cycles and the sort of common stuff that would normally be the pack fillers has got magic restored on it, and so is necessarily worth at least talking about for the magic restored decks. And,
Yeah.
and in fact, is due to sort of as we mentioned before, how magic restored is kind of an all or nothing thing. Those cards are even like necessarily have to be included in magic restored decks.
Yeah. So I think I did not rate the cards yet, but if I had to guess, in my ratings at least, this set will have the fewest ones proportionally to everything else.
I think that's probably true. I'd be willing to second you on that.
Well, there's also the fact that the core rotated, so there's like fewer cards, which means new cards will be used more often. But I don't think that's the main contributor here.
Yeah. Now, counterpoint. That could lead. Well, it could lead to a shorter stream if it's just throw our hands up and make everything a 3. But that's not how we roll.
You can't be wrong if you mark everything as a free.
Well, you
Kind
can
of.
you can be very wrong, but you might minimize your R at
Okay,
least a little
Kirsten.
bit.
Okay, no. We mark as a thing as a free, and then we bring a deck that has every card from the set to Continentals, which means every card technically soul play.
Huh. Interesting thought.
You know?
But the problem is both of us both of us have deck concepts that like might actually win. So
I don't think my deck is gonna win. I'm kind of at a crossroads here. I could play Pip and not win, or I could pick some OP deck, OP combo deck, and maybe win, and maybe add more pips to the game. You know, it's kind of like enjoy the pips we have, or think about the pips we made along the way. And I don't know what I will do.
Fair point. So yeah, regardless, over the course of these next 2 weeks, if you're hanging around Discord, I am probably going to be looking for test games more frequently than before, which is to say, at all. So that'll be that.
Yeah.
And yeah, mark a calendar for August 3rd. August 3rd. That's
Yep.
set review day.
That is that.
And otherwise, I think that's all we need to talk about today. Thank you,
I think so.
everyone, in the chat for being so lively, coming out and supporting us. Thanks. Well, perhaps it's on you to say thanks for the HithCon participants.
Yeah, I'm surprised how many people showed up. We had 8 people. That's really cool. It's really nice to see that people come here and want to play the game. It's surprising.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, we'll be here 2 weeks from now to talk about the set. It'll be fun. I promise.
You promised that yourself.
I know. Yes. It's I mean, it's just like, invitational and everything, right? It's
Yeah.
by the time we're done, we'll be like, God, why did we put ourselves through this? But a year will go by and we're like, yeah, it's time for that again.
Yeah.
All right.
You can watch the VOD, Beagle.
Yeah. I promise to save it this time.
Yeah.
All right, so until next time, I have been Cursor Corps.
I have been HithRock.
See you in 2 weeks.
Bye.